How to talk to anyone in English. Lena often pondered why she should even bother learning English. The sheer overwhelming scale of it, the constant pressure to sound perfect, made her question every effort she made. She felt stuck, silently absorbing knowledge but never daring to utter a single phrase. It was a lonely, frustrating linguistic prison she had built. She'd read articles titled "Why You Should Not Learn English," resonating deeply with the feeling of futility. Her grammar books were immaculate, her vocabulary vast, yet her tongue remained stubbornly tied. The gap between her knowledge and her ability to articulate felt like an unbridgeable chasm, growing wider daily. The thought, how to talk to anyone in English, seemed like an impossible dream. She imagined effortlessly conversing, exchanging witty remarks, but in reality, her mind froze, words scattering like startled birds. Every potential conversation felt like a high-stakes performance she was destined to fail. One gloomy afternoon, scrolling online, she stumbled upon a video, "Listen and Practice, Boost Your English." Intrigued, despite her skepticism, she clicked, hearing a soothing, melodic British accent narrating a charming, simple tale. A tiny spark of curiosity ignited within her hesitant soul. This was different, not dry lessons, but learn English through stories. The narrative unfolded, painting vivid pictures, and Lena found herself effortlessly following along, captivated by the plot. It wasn't about grammar drills, it was about immersing herself in a new world, a new way to absorb language. She discovered Let's Talk in British English channels, focusing specifically on the elegant cadences and nuanced pronunciations. The consistent exposure began to subtly reshape her understanding of spoken English, making the sounds less alien, more familiar, almost comforting in their rhythmic flow. Listening became her new addiction, absorbing countless hours of audiobooks and podcasts. She noticed how people speak English in natural, unscripted dialogues, picking up on intonation, pauses, and common expressions. This passive observation was slowly building a foundation she hadn't realized was possible. The next hurdle was active participation, how to take first step for talking. Her initial attempts were whispers, repeating phrases aloud when no one was around, feeling silly but determined. The sound of her own voice forming English words was both foreign and exhilarating. She recorded herself, cringing at first, but then objectively analyzing her pronunciation and rhythm. This self-assessment, though uncomfortable, was crucial for identifying areas needing improvement. Slowly, painstakingly, she began to bridge the gap between understanding and vocalizing. The stories provided context, emotions, and natural language patterns. She started retelling them to herself, inventing new endings, or imagining characters in her thoughts. This creative engagement transformed the learning process from a chore into a delightful, personal adventure, full of possibilities. The best way to learn English, she realized, wasn't a universal formula but a personalized journey of discovery. For her, it was this blend of passive listening and active, albeit solitary, speaking practice that truly unlocked the initial barriers to fluency. Yet, the real test remained, speaking to another human being. She understood why you should practice speaking aloud, because it solidifies knowledge and builds confidence, but the fear of judgment lingered like a stubborn shadow. The internal battle was far from over. One day, a language exchange app popped up. The concept of how to talk to people in pairs seemed less daunting than a large group conversation. A one-on-one interaction felt safer, a confined space where mistakes might be less exposed, less embarrassing. Her first partner, a patient British man named Arthur, immediately put her at ease. His gentle encouragement and clear articulation made their initial stilted conversations flow more naturally. She found herself focusing on understanding, rather than rehearsing perfect sentences. They started by discussing the stories Lena loved, using them as a comfortable conversational springboard. Arthur patiently corrected her subtle errors, never interrupting the flow, always praising her effort. This supportive environment nurtured her fragile confidence beautifully. "Let's talk in British English," Arthur would often suggest, sharing interesting cultural tidbits and regional idioms. Lena absorbed these nuances, integrating them into her budding vocabulary, making her speech sound more authentic, more connected to the language's origin. The more she listened, the more she practiced, the more she understood the rhythm of genuine conversation. It wasn't about textbook perfection, but about effective communication, about conveying thoughts and feelings, however imperfectly at first. This realization was profoundly liberating. She started noticing how people speak English in movies and interviews, not just the words but the pauses, the filler words, the natural hesitations. These insights made her own speaking feel less artificial, more human, as she adopted some of these natural patterns. Lena's confidence grew with each successful interaction. The fear of making mistakes began to recede, replaced by a growing excitement for new conversations. She understood why you should practice speaking every single day. It was the fuel for her progress. She sought out new partners, expanding her conversational horizons. Some were native speakers, others fellow learners, all contributing to her growing comfort and adaptability. Each interaction was a mini adventure, an opportunity to test her evolving skills. The initial thought, "why you should not learn English," now seemed absurd, a distant echo of her past anxieties. The joy of expressing herself, of connecting with people across cultures, far outweighed any past apprehension she had once harbored. She even started joining online discussion groups, where how to talk to anyone in English became a daily reality. The diverse accents and perspectives challenged her, pushing her beyond her comfort zone, but also expanding her understanding exponentially. The stories she loved continued to be her anchor, providing rich vocabulary and cultural context for her discussions. She found herself referencing characters and plot lines, adding depth and personal connection to her conversations with new acquaintances. She reflected on how to take first step for talking, realizing it wasn't a sudden leap but a series of tiny, brave actions. Each whispered repetition, each recorded sentence, each hesitant hello had been a crucial step on her remarkable journey. Her journey was a testament to the power of consistent, patient effort. She recognized the best way to learn English was ultimately about finding what resonated with her and committing to it wholeheartedly, adapting as she progressed. Lena now actively encouraged others, sharing her story, emphasizing the importance of simply starting. She'd tell them, just listen, absorb the sounds, and find a story that genuinely excites your imagination. She explained why you should practice speaking, not for perfection, but for fluency and confidence. The mistakes were merely stepping stones, not roadblocks, on the path to genuine, meaningful communication. Every stumble was a learning opportunity. Her transformation was remarkable. From a silent observer, she became a confident communicator, ready to engage in any English conversation. The world, once intimidating, now felt boundless, accessible through her newly found voice. She continued to listen to learn English through stories, finding endless joy and new vocabulary in every narrative. The magic of storytelling was a continuous wellspring of linguistic enrichment, always providing fresh content. Let's talk in British English remained her preferred style, appreciating its elegance and the cultural connections it offered. She loved mimicking the various regional accents she heard, broadening her phonetic range playfully. Her initial struggles with how to take first step for talking now felt like a distant memory, replaced by a natural inclination to engage. The fear had dissipated, replaced by a genuine enthusiasm for linguistic exploration. She observed how people speak English in different contexts, formal, informal, academic, casual, and adapted her own speech accordingly. This adaptability was a testament to her deep understanding and comfort with the language's nuances. The best way to learn English, she often mused, involved a blend of structured learning and organic immersion. It was about creating an environment where English felt natural, not just a subject to be studied. She became an advocate for why you should practice speaking, urging her friends not to wait for perfection. Speak now, she'd say, even if it's just to yourself. Every word counts towards building fluency. She enjoyed organizing how to talk to people in pair sessions for her friends, acting as a facilitator, sharing tips she had learned from Arthur. She created a safe, supportive space for everyone to practice freely. Lena's journey proved that how to talk to anyone in English was not an innate talent but a skill diligently cultivated through consistent effort and courage. It was a journey of small victories, culminating in significant personal growth. Her British accent, though still distinctively her own, had greatly improved, making her feel more connected to the stories she loved. The specific focus she chose proved incredibly beneficial for her personal learning style. She often reflected on her initial doubts, the profound fear that held her captive for so long. Now, she felt a profound sense of liberation, empowered by her ability to express herself without hesitation or shame. The world of English literature and media was now fully open to her, without the need for subtitles or translations. This independent access to information and entertainment was a continuous source of joy and further learning. She found new communities, new friends, all thanks to her perseverance in mastering English. Her world had literally expanded, offering opportunities and connections she could only have dreamed of before. Listen and practice became her mantra, applied not just to English but to other aspects of her life. The discipline of active listening and deliberate practice transcended language learning, influencing her personal development positively. She encouraged her students to find their own best way to learn English, emphasizing that everyone's path is unique. The key, she stressed, was persistent engagement and embracing every single mistake as a valuable lesson. The quiet girl who once thought why you should not learn English had transformed into a passionate advocate for global communication. Her voice, once silent, now resonated with confidence and newfound purpose. Her personal story became an inspiration, demonstrating that fluency wasn't about talent but about strategic effort and relentless practice. She proved that dedication truly unlocks potential for anyone. Lena's journey, filled with small steps and significant breakthroughs, was a beautiful testament to human perseverance. She was a living example of how learning English can truly transform one's entire world. She realized that learning how to talk to anyone in English was not just about words, it was about empathy, understanding different cultures, and building bridges between people. The language was merely the vehicle. The initial prompts that once seemed like disparate concepts now wove together into a coherent narrative of her success. Each piece of advice, each method, had played its crucial role in her linguistic triumph. From hesitant listener to confident speaker, Lena's evolution was complete. She had not only mastered a language but had also discovered a profound inner strength and resilience she never knew she possessed. Her British English continued to improve, becoming a natural extension of her personality. She found immense pleasure in the subtleties of expressions and the elegant phrasing that characterized the dialect she loved. She often chuckled remembering her early anxieties about how to take first step for talking. Now, initiating conversations felt as natural as breathing, a truly remarkable and empowering shift. Lena embraced new challenges, knowing her English skills would always support her endeavors. She was ready for anything, armed with her well-honed communication abilities and boundless confidence. The stories she learned from were still her companions, providing comfort and continuous learning. They were not just a tool but a cherished part of her ongoing linguistic adventure. Her life was richer, fuller, and infinitely more connected because she chose to persevere. English had opened doors she never knew existed, leading to a vibrant and diverse life. She frequently shared her powerful mantra: listen, practice, learn through stories, and just talk. Your journey starts with one brave word. This simple advice changed many lives. Lena, the once timid learner, was now a beacon of linguistic empowerment, proving that with dedication, how to talk to anyone in English is within everyone's reach.